From what I know, the Africa that I know, especially sub-Saharan African, there's not a lot of mix. It's a homogeneous area. So if you're mixed, you're not homogeneous. You're homogeneous. So how is that Africa? I think for me, and I spoke to Cape Verdean people, I've spoken to, Cape Verdean people, and they said they fetishize Cape Verdean women, meaning like West Africans, Cape Verdean women, just like they fetishize Dominican women. Something about mixing, right? Something about mixing that some people go crazy over. They're not really happy with their pure raced women. They're not. So it really comes down to a fetish. And then they add, on top of the fetish, they add the politics on top of it, which is crazy to me. It's like me going to an Asian woman, talking to an Asian woman. And, I'm talking to her and she goes, oh, no, I only date Korean men. And I go, are you racist against Hispanics? I've never done that in my life. Like, I've never, if I'm gotten rejected by a girl, a woman that's outside my race, ethnicity, nationality, and she says no, I don't go, well, you must hate me, or you must be racist.
But that's what they're saying, that they're demanding that we identify ourselves as black. And I have a live, I'm going to download it and then upload it on YouTube. They say that they have the right through the African Union to claim that all land inhabited by African descended people or with African admixture is African land or African territory.
If they do that, that's a declaration of war.
It is. It's
a declaration of war. It's just,
and it's funny because.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you, boss. Sorry. Like a lot of these, and I'm not trying to attack the Afro Latinos, but a lot of these Afro Latinos, like, they be like mad racist towards light skinned Latinos, man. Like my father, for instance, he was Puerto Rican, but he was like on the lighter side. And he told me that he used to receive like a lot of racism from these Afrocentrist people. A lot of them are like African Americans. It's just they're poisoning the people who are like Afro Latino. They're poisoning their minds, and then we have this whole mess. It's like crazy, bro.
Yeah, that's why I had a live yesterday, great live yesterday. And I had some Dominican women, 2 Dominican women. One was saying that she's Afro-Latina, that she classifies Afro-Latina because she looks dark, she looks black, right? I'm like, cool.
But she's really mixed, yeah.
But she's really mixed. And the thing is like, would it bother you if I consider myself Euro-Latino? Like European Latino. And then when I see white people, right? Like white people, I'm like, hey, I'm one of you. And then I'm going to go to them and be like, she's Dominican, but she's not one of me. She's not one of me. How are you going to like that? I could do that. Hispanics, we could do that. Some Hispanics could do it. We could go, oh yeah, that. We could do that. Let's join forces. Come on. Let's join forces. You're not going to like that. You're going to get mad. You're going to get scared. You're going to run and cry. Because you know who has the power structure, right? Hispanics don't do that, though. Because even myself, maybe even your dad, they say, oh, you a white man. He's going to deny it. You're like, no, I'm Puerto Rican. Or no, I'm Dominican. But on the other hand, on the other side, when they say, oh, you black, you go, yeah, I'm black. So you see, you're racist. The majority of people there, 80% of people act ghetto. And I think that's what happened. Also, too, and I'm going to say this, Puerto Ricans have a long time dealing with the United States ever since 1898. So they really have a really bad relationship with Anglo-white people. Because Anglo-white people, the Marines, should go to Puerto Rico, have their way with the women, do whatever they want, do abusive practices. Right? So they remember that. So when they see black people, they go, oh, me and you, we're in the same boat because that's the enemy. So I think that's where it comes from. It's not so much because, not for nothing, you could see a Puerto Rican who got braids, talks black, acts black, but at the same time knows he's Puerto Rican.
Right.
And
I think it's a better idea if we unite with Dominicans. Puerto Ricans and Dominicans united sounds better because we have more in common than the AA community.
Yeah, and that's the thing. As Hispanics, Salvadorians, we have to work together. I mean, it's tough, you have millions, hundreds of millions of people. You just can't say, oh, let's consolidate and work together. But what we have to do is, me personally, I don't talk bad about other Hispanics. I don't go at one flag and go, oh, F these people, F these. I don't do that because a Dominican movement, a Puerto Rican movement, a Mexican movement is really a Hispanic movement. You get what I'm saying? A Hispanic. This is what this is what I want to say is all those people out there that are, Hispanic, speak good. Don't go against other Hispanics. Because if you do, like if I go to a live and I see a Mexican talking bad about Puerto Rican or Puerto Rican talking about a Mexican, all I'm going to say is like, you guys are anti-Hispanic.
Right.
You guys are. Because, yeah, you guys are going this, but meanwhile, your countries are being taken over by people who don't look like you or people who aren't from you. They're taking over your country.
Right. When I was in Puerto Rico last year, I saw a lot of Africanization. In fact, there was one place where they had like this event, like an art studio kind of thing, and they were making like Taino designs, and they were building like a garden. They were handing out this weird ass vegetarian sancocho. It was terrible. but
wait. So wait, repeat that again. Vegetable sancocho?
Vegan sancocho.
They're super woke. A vegan sancocho? Come on, yes. Man. What's next? A vegan pernil too? A vegan pernil?
That's the first time I hear that, and I'm Puerto Rican.
Yeah. That's that woke stuff, and not for nothing, that vegan stuff. If you make it yourself, if you grab corn, black bean, broccoli, and you do it yourself, I think that's excellent. But if you buy it from the frozen food section, you know how many chemicals that shit has? It's not good for you. It's not good for you. Beyond Meat too. Beyond Meat, which is a Bill Gates, creation. It's meant to poison you.
So at this vegan sancocho party, they were telling people supposedly like that, about the Taino thing, blah blah blah. But then the main event, they had some university students from the local university music department, cultural department, and they got up there. They had like
they wouldn't like me too much out there. That's for sure. So Marjorie, welcome to the show. Is mixed race an abomination?
I believe so, because mixed race have existed for 500 years. You could see Dominican Republic, and the numbers is going up here in the United States because let's be honest, a lot of the Black American men are dating out of their race.
Yep.
And mixing with the white woman or the Latinas and
self-hate.
Every other group except their Black woman.
They're trying to get hold on native title. That's what it is.
But they're doing it with the wrong intentions. That's the thing about the mixed race. Like Dominicans, that came naturally. Puerto Ricans, Cubans, that came naturally. But when you hate yourself, so you want to mix out your communities failed, that's an abomination. When you do it with the wrong intentions. Like right. Let's say, like if two people genuinely like each other, the baby will come out looking good. It'll look natural. But when you just have a great baby, or just, I hate myself, let me get with this European, then it doesn't even come out looking right.
No, but another thing that they do over here in America is that they hate on the light skinned brothers, right? A lot of the light skinned brothers are being hated by, let's say, the darker skinned shade brothers, like because for some reason they accept the light skinned women, but they don't accept the light skinned brothers because they have some sort of insecurities when it comes to that. They say they're pretty boys. They were saying that they were getting all the women, and now they're pushing this kind of hatred towards them.
Because they're jealous of
And
y'all.
they will even take like the most non-looking black woman, a light skin, barely look black, and they will call her black or Afro Latina.
Right,
Because
right, right.
let's just say it, mulatto men are very attractive. They are, and and maybe it's envious. They're envious of their look.
They have like real deep self-hate issues and identity issues. Like this dude Kendrick Lamar made a rap song about Drake and talking about light skin or something like that. Like think about that. Who's gonna make a rap song talking about someone else's skin color? Like you got issues.
Yeah. They do this a lot. They believe it's okay. The thing is, black people were the biggest pushers of civil rights movement. Martin Luther King says judge people not based on the color of their skin, but based on their character. And then the black people are turning around doing the exact same thing that they were begging other race of people not to do to them. They're doing within the confinement of their own group of people, right? And you'll see. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, actually, if that applied to Dominicans, we'd be judging Haitians straight up and down of their character.
But yeah, on character, of course, because they would do it. Like I know this Haitian man and this Dominican, they're almost like family to me. And he was like, oh, her father said he doesn't want his daughter with a Haitian man. The Haitian dude was like, I understand. He didn't even say that's racist. It's bad. He like, no, okay, I understand why. So people do realize cultural differences.
Yeah, exactly.
What Francis just said just now is absolutely right. Most of the people who fought for black rights in America were heavily mulatto people, exactly, like Nat Turner, Booker T. Washington, W.B. Boys. There's a lot of light-skinned mixed mulatto brothers that fought for the black community, and they instigated or put a picture or an image in a movie when they created a movie called Nat Turner movie, and they portrayed it in dark-skinned brother, but he's actually a mulatto. Look it up, Nat Turner.
And another thing, a lot of these quote-unquote mulattoes, like in America, in my opinion, still don't even look the same as a mixed Dominican. Like there's still differences. It's not like, oh, we mix and then we're going to come out looking a certain way most of the time.
But both. I think both of them are attractive. The American mulatto and the Dominican mulatto. Even the British ones, like they're just attractive, and I think it's inferiority complex of the darker skinned people because they just want to look like y'all. At the end of the day,
That's the hypocrisy side, right? Because they want the lighter skinned sisters, they want the Hispanic sisters who's obviously gonna create light skinned babies. So they're creating light skinned babies, but they don't like light skinned guys. Like it's the hypocrisy.
It's jealousy and inferiority complex, and they're
but
scared of competing.
why? It's competition because you're gonna get the girls.
Funny.
Yo, Darnell's hilarious. He's going back and forth with Vicky, and shout out to Vicky, real patriota. She says, so you think Dale looks better than me because I look real good? Oh my God. Any man that says that about himself is crazy to me. That's crazy to me. That means you don't look good. That's crazy.
No, but you know what's crazy about that, Macho? You know what's crazy about that? These guys will be on panels with black women with veins in their heads, screaming at black women, "Stop emasculating us! Stop emasculating us! Stop becoming single mothers!" They be on these panels with these women screaming with veins in their head, talking about stop emasculating them. Right? But they turn around, but these guys turn around and try to emasculate the light-skinned brothers in the community, calling them sassy, calling them soft. So they're the hypocrisy. They're acting like the very same black women that they're going against on these panels on YouTube. Like they're going crazy with veins in their head with these black women looking at their nails, saying, what is this guy talking about? I'm about to go back and do my thing, right? So they're on these panels screaming at these women, begging these women to stop emasculating them, but they turn around and try to emasculate the light-skinned brothers but it backfires on them because now the women still want the light skinned brothers and they're upset.
It's very feminine behavior. They don't act like men. The men in their communities are supposed to lead and influence the women. They are influenced by their women. They're not a patriarchy. They're a matriarchy. They come from single mother homes.
And now they're running to these Hispanic countries, Latina countries,
Passport
DR.
bros.
They're running to Colombia, passport bros, because they're running from the very same women in America, and they're going to these other countries, and they're bringing the same degeneracy to those other countries.
We got to keep them out. And you know what I hate about it? When they go over there, the first thing they talk about is black this, black that. Do they like black men? They sound so insecure, and then they run and make videos about this country's racist whenever a woman don't want them, and then make a whole mini documentary about the history of the country, how racist they are, and a whole bunch of shit. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you know, it's the thing is that they want sexual access to women, and when the women say no, I want to stick to my man, they come up with these elaborate political gaslighting schemes to bully them and to guilt tripping them, right? It's very psychotic. I think it's almost
They're manipulators. They're manipulating the of these women who are obviously mixed race because they look mixed, and they're just telling them that they're black and to forget about their other percentage of ancestry that they have in their DNA.
These people
I mean,
are
why
nuisance.
can't we just be proud of being mixed? What is so offensive about that? I don't understand.
I really despise them. They are like a cancer to humanity.
But what's crazy about that rap beef? Mulatto Vanguard, it's for light, brother. It's me in the chat. I saw you. Shout out to Mulatto Vanguard.
Yeah, he was on my show earlier. But yeah, Mulatto be bringing that heat, man. And, you know, and it's funny because I think what Mulatto's doing, he's ahead of his time. Like, you're going to see a lot of mixed race people, specifically black and white, in North America, Canada. You're going to see 5 years, 10 years down the road, they're not going to consider themselves black. Whereas 30 years ago,
like that Tyler situation, and it's wow, man. These people got identity issues, but they're trying to project it onto others.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot of pain.
And they're professional gaslighters too.
Yeah, because if you think about it, even the comedians used to tell you that, oh, when I see a white guy and he says no to something, goes, oh, you hate me because I'm a black man. Like, they do that on purpose to get the white man like, huh. You know what I mean? So now they're doing it to Hispanics.
But we all got to
using that same tactic that they use on white people. Oh, you won't let me in because I'm black and stuff like that. Like, I read this comment, right? Let me see if I have it here about Dykeman, right? Dykeman is an area in Upper Manhattan. Let's see. Okay, I can't find it right now. Anyway, I saw something on Twitter where, first of all, there's this rapper that was part of the ASAP mob. I don't know if people know rap, ASAP Rocky, whatever. There's this rapper, Smoke Perp, some shit there, said that if you're black and you see a Hispanic and no one's around, you should shoot them.
Damn.
He said, not the women, the men. The men. Like, if you see they're a threat, like white people, yada, 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 yada. So I was reading the comments.
That's a new generation.
Somebody said, oh, because when you go to Dykeman, when I be trying to go in, the bouncers are racist. They don't want us because they know all the women and this and this and that and this and this and that. You know, so it's like, so they gaslight you in that sense. Like, they could do whatever they want. They could destroy, start problems, reduce your property value, but you have to allow them just because of the color of their skin. But they know what they're doing. They're just guilt tripping you and using the stigma of racism to scare you. And, you know, so hey, Dykeman bouncers, keep doing what you do.
And this is why I don't take those of you who claim Native American ancestry seriously. You claim Native American while simultaneously praising whiteness. This just goes to show you how well the whitewashing of Latin America worked. The way these folks speak down on African Americans and then turn around and claim they created hip-hop culture. They want to be white, but they can't get the white people they worship to accept them, so all they can do is latch on to black people who they were just shitting on. The identity crisis colonialism created in the Dominican community is a grave one.
I think they have it better than Puerto Ricans and Dominicans because last time I checked, I never seen a movie with a Puerto Rican and a Dominican in it, to be honest, man.
Well, they could have
It's black privilege, man. There's everything in America they pander constantly, but of course they don't see it. You know, just like the same way that when the fish is in water, he don't know he's in water. So they don't realize how much the country bends over backwards to accommodate their feelings, right? They still, because look, they don't know how to get out of this victim mentality. They love it there. You know what I mean? Like the other gentleman was saying, you know what I mean? They love to play the victim, but then they want to attach themselves to you know, empires and strong men in history. You know what I mean? That just ain't your history, bro. It's just like Kanye said that when slavery was a choice. I know that he got a lot of flack for that. But look, the Native Americans didn't go into slavery because they fought honorably. You know what I mean? That's just a straight up fact.
But you know what's crazy, Ghost? They're also ignoring the go ahead, Marjorie. You wanted to say something? Go ahead, sis.
No, I just wanted to say, like, you know, I think they just need to reconnect with their real roots. I mean, they don't have to move to Africa, but just, you know,
Native Americans, that's their real roots.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this. There are still a few people within the African American community that stayed as close to their roots as possible. Look at the Gullah Geechee. They're like the only people in the African American community that actually stay true to their African origins. They have a dialect called what, Geechee or Gullah or whatever. Yeah. I even have one.
Isn't that a Native American tribe that they like became one with or mixed with?
They mixed with some of the East Coast tribes.
No, bro, that was the. Let me interject here, right? Because I'm half Okinawan, right? So I have to deal with these people all the time. And that was a big mistake of the Seminoles. So what happened with the Seminoles is, look, they basically allowed them to come in and, you know, when they were escaping slavery in Florida, and they basically accepted them into the tribe. And now, fast forward into the future, now they claim it was the Black Seminoles. You know what I mean? Even though they were a small percentage, they might have been like 5%. You know what I mean? And they ended up going down into Mexico. So the descendants who did mix with other Seminoles, right, they ended up going down into Mexico. But now they'll claim the Seminoles were black. So what that's doing is discrediting. They want to take all the victories of the Seminoles and claim it as their own, when they were the ones who were seeking the Seminoles for refuge and protection.
They are going hard.
Remember, the Spanish in Florida gave the Gullahs and the Seminoles the refuge. I think they had a fort called Negro Fort in Florida. It's educational purposes, TikTok, educational purposes. And I think the Spanish gave them refuge because they were secret, like, just give the British hell. You know, we don't care. You know, they started the Indian Wars
with the Native American thing. Now, go ahead.
No, I was just saying because I digged into that side of history, and yes, a lot of the Seminole history overlaps with that situation with the Gullah Geechees, but it's like a history that very few people talk about.
A lot of slaves used to run to Florida because it was Spanish, and the Spanish did things differently than the Anglos and the French. Do you know, anybody knows when was the first
This is false. Slaves ran towards Mexico because the Mexican president, Vicente Guerrero, who was a black man, had promised safety and freedom to enslaved Africans within U.S. territory.
Racial marriage in the United States of America?
No.
Was it between?
It wasn't in the 50s after the civil rights. It was during the Spanish in Florida. And before that, it was in the island of Hispaniola. And that goes to show you, the Anglos, it wasn't until century 300-400 years later until they would do such a thing.
This is false. I've spoken about this in previous videos. The Spanish and Portuguese created the first caste systems in the Americas, where white people were on top and black people were directly on the bottom. They taught the belief of white superiority and how one must breed out dark skin for the betterment of society. This gave birth to Majora La Raza and mestizage. All of this was a ploy for Europeans to have justification for invading and taking land for themselves. The mixed children gave them rights to the land while holding white supremacist ideology and upholding it in society.
From almost the very beginning, the Hispanic Empire was part of what they did.
You see, it's a difference. And the French were worse.
Facts.
Yeah, the French were
Well,
really.
this is why you're able to see in these places. If you look at somewhere that was a former French colony, then you're going to see it's usually all like black, right? They didn't mix like that. And also, they eliminated a lot of the natives. This is why in Mexico, you still have a culture of Native American. Like 30% is still pure indigenous. You know what I'm saying? Because the Spanish, contrary to popular belief, the Spanish didn't go hard like that, like the Anglo or the French did on the Native Americans or the Anglo-Saxon. You know, this is why it went from 100% down to like 2% in a matter of decades in the United States. You know what I mean? But under Spanish territories, they still had a large remnant.
And not, you know, they lie about a lot of things. I don't know if you guys know that even a lot of stuff is coming out about history that black people have been promoting has totally been a lie. Like, for example, the Willie Lynch letter. That's actually a lie. And a lot of black people promote this nonsense to kind of sidestep by calling the lighter skinned people that they were in the house and the white man was just giving them cakes every day and dancing with them to salsa music or whatnot. The Willie Lynch letter is actually a lie. It's actually made up, and the black community have been pushing this to kind of push hate towards lighter shade skinned black people.
You know what else? You know what else is a lie made up?
Yeah.
Juneteenth.
Holiday. I know
That should never exist.
That's more of a Texas. That's really more of a Texas holiday. That's a Texas-based holiday.
Now, I used to live in Texas. I used to live in Houston and San Antonio, and they never celebrated that. It was only after this woke shit, COVID-19, that they started opening that up.
John, let me just say this. There was a time that the Black Americans, you know, they built their communities. They, you know, they did a lot of stuff during that time. I mean, in history, I'm not going to say that they messed up everything, but I think after that time, when they lost, you know, their way and got into Section 8 and all these government help, that's when they lost themselves because of the single.
And you see how false narratives continue to be pushed about the black community. White people are the largest recipients of welfare and governmental assistance, but individuals like these push white supremacist ideology.
Bombs.
Well, let's take Compton, California for an example, right, which is now about 60% Mexican, right? So I don't know if you remember like the race wars in LA between Mexicans and blacks or whatever, right? But they weren't taking care of their neighborhood. There was trash everywhere. It was looking grimy. And now you look at Compton and its manicured lawns. Basically, the Mexicans went in there and improved the area, just like in certain areas of Chicago. But they'll sit there and complain how, oh, they're taking over and this and that. And they act like there's a conspiracy, like somebody just gave it to the Mexicans, right? Nah, people had to grind for that, opening up businesses and what have you. You know what I'm saying?
They have too many excuses. Like every group on earth has gone through things. Literally, the Jews, I don't know if y'all heard of from Iraq, man, I forget the name. But every single group of people have been through a lot of things. The Japanese were bombed with nuclear bombs twice. Everybody, the Jews, etc. Like, there's no way you can have an excuse for every single little thing. No, like men in societies, they build their societies. They influence their women. They influence their children. They build their community. You cannot have an excuse for everything.
And this is something that happened with Brooklyn. In Brooklyn, 10 years ago, 10 to 15 years ago, Brooklyn, it was a mess. You know, the blacks had it for a very long time. It was trash everywhere. And then the Jewish people started moving in, especially around Newton Avenue. The Jewish people started moving in and clean up the whole community, and they started complaining. I'm like, bro, you guys had that community for so long, you guys could have been cleaned it up.
Like this guy
That's what
in
it
the
is.
chat
They
saying,
littered their own communities and they want to complain about everybody else, man. Like these people, they accuse everybody of being racist, but they
like
don't say how racist, the AA community is, how racist they are.
this dude in the
And
chat talking about they literally burned down and demolished our communities. He's talking about like the mass
That's the same.
the Oklahoma.
That's the
thing
same talking
that
point. They,
burned
they,
down
they run the same
200
narrative, right?
like
Let me
100,
tell you something
200
about
years
Tulsa.
ago.
Bro,
And
first of
they
all,
say that was a lie. Go ahead, my bad.
they call it, oh, Tulsa, we had Black Wall Street. No, you did not, bro. That's just another lie, too. Like, they act like, what is Wall Street? That is where you're trading commodities. You weren't doing that in Tulsa. Just because all that Tulsa community was a black enclave. Nothing more, nothing less. It wasn't some grand city or anything like that. They didn't build it. You know what I mean? They moved in, and yeah, they might have had their own barber shop and their own restaurant and what have you. And good for you. You know what I'm saying? But to act like it was some, Black Wall Street, like it was some glamorous place, that's just a lie.
Yeah,
So again, that's another excuse. Oh, well, we can't build great cities because every time we do, somebody's going to come in and destroy it. It's just an excuse,
Yeah,
right? And then why do you go and move up into other people's communities then if you can build such a great community? You need not to look further than Detroit, Memphis, and those areas to do with it. Even when you have your own people as government officials, you know what I mean?
they love
Let me say this. I'm
white
gonna surprise you
communities.
guys with what Ghost just said. Do you guys know that even the Black Wall Street that they started was started by a man called J.B. Stratford, which was actually a light-skinned mulatto brother? You can't make this up. He was actually a light-skinned brother that started and throughout history. If you guys look throughout history, Booker T. Washington, who was trying to create black engineers, trying to create black doctors, you talk about W.B. Boys, all these great mulatto mixed light-skinned brothers who were the pioneers and the builders of the black people that they're trying to claim, today. And it's crazy that nobody knows this. Even Nat Turner, which is one of the big guy that the Hebrew Israelite guys like to claim. One guy in here was called Nat Turner, and he was going against us. And I'm like, dude, do you know that your name is based off of a mixed mulatto brother? He was a mixed brother.
Look at Malcolm X.
The moment they can, they go running to white community and marry white women. Look at all the professional athletes.
Check this out.
They need to appreciate the mulattoes that have been fighting their fight.
Yes,
Why they don't give them
Exactly.
appreciation?
They have had it better than Puerto Ricans and Dominicans nowadays. That's a fact.
You can't make this up. You can't.
Let me make my point here. Look at how they treat Malcolm X's legacy. I've seen some stupid stuff, and I'm just going to speak in nuance here. Look how some black folks in social media treat Malcolm X's legacy. You even had people try to call Malcolm X, well, he's not really black, but he did help our people. Just because he had an ancestor that was a Scottish landowner in the Caribbean, because his mother was a Grenadian Caribbean.
Louis Farrakhan is not black American. He's like
He's a Jamaican American,
or Grenadian or something like that. Yeah.
So is Harry Belafonte.
Not Jamaican. Farrakhan is
Saint Vincent, one of those.
Saint Vincent. Yeah, like
but Farrakhan has strong Caribbean roots. He is on some Caribbean stuff. So
He's mid.
So everybody hit like, share, subscribe. Came out to the first show. We're having a great conversation.
Robert Smalls, trust me, there were some trolls that bashed Malcolm. It just beat the instigators.
And y'all mentioned earlier about the Tulsa whatever massacre. Have y'all heard of Jay Morrison and the what you call that, like housing? What you call like the housing markets?
The Tulsa Fund. See, if you're gonna, I'm sorry to interrupt, but if you're gonna speak on things, you need to know all the factly You struggling to come up with it is a scam. It is a scam.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
Black Americans, I'm sorry, but many black people in general, I don't care if you're Jamaican, Nigerian, American, whatever the case, they didn't mess with him. They were happy when that whole thing failed because they knew it was a scam. But for you to dismiss history in which countless of scholars have proven this, and to say the Tulsa whatever fund, you're literally doing what they're doing. It's giving, I was bullied, so I'm going to turn into the bully.
The Tulsa
Don't
whatever
do that.
fund.
Let's
I'm
have a
talking about. I'm
respectful
talking
and
about Jay
decent
Morrison. The
conversation.
Tulsa whatever fund. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna call it. I'm talking about Jay
Right.
Morrison and his scam.
I just wanted to interject, but please continue what you were saying.
No, that we were talking about the Tulsa thing, and then we're talking about how
It's not only that. It's not only Jay Morrison.
He's scamming his own people, and then he's talking about something historic.
Most of the pro wax are a bunch of scammers. You look at Dr. Umar Johnson. He's been asking for donations for 10 plus years to build a school. Dr. Umar's another scammer.
Yes, he has, but you're not saying anything that many black people, regardless of nationality, don't already say.
Hey,
yeah.
let's not talk
Yeah, a lot of them do say that.
This is an American thing above all.
I have a good example, right? I have a good example for you. So what happened to Liberia? Liberia was a place where Black Americans went. It should be a utopia, right? What happened to that?
Yeah, but you're talking about when did they go over there in the late 1800s? That's centuries ago.
And nobody interfered with them, right? So it should be a whole Black Wall Street all over again, right? It should be Wakanda, correct? Yeah, Liberia. They set aside a whole
Johnson is a
land
scam
for
artist.
Americans.
They're trying to do something similar with Ghana. They're inviting a bunch of black and African diaspora back to places like Ghana. They're offering.
Now they have.
Nah, bro, that's not the same. Liberia was literally a whole country that was set aside so that Black Americans can prosper. Now they can't blame the white man for that, though, right? They can't blame anybody else for that.
But
They just
now
failed.
you're talking to the people of Liberia. I mean, because those are African people, Liberian people.
No, they were people that came from America that
Right,
they
but we're
are
talking
African Americans.
200-300 years ago. I've never even been to Liberia, so I can't speak on outside of what I've read in books.
After slavery,
I can't speak on the politics of Liberia, and I can't be blamed for that.
I got a question.
There was like, hey, we can take you back. We can take you to Liberia. We can take you back to Africa.
John Doe's, let me ask Sweet Harriet a question.
Right, but because I'm not Liberian, my family's not from there, I can't speak on how come it's in disarray right now.
Sweet Harriet, I got a question.
Yes.
Sweet Harriet, I got a question for you. I got a question for you.
I hear you.
So I'm gonna propose a different type of question, and I'm just gonna throw this in here for nuance purposes because people have felt some type of way when I ask this in black spaces. So you know how people right now have been bringing up the reparations over the last few years. Let me ask you an honest question. Do you feel people from who
Hold on for a second. Ivan, my bad. Someone said Liberia was a thriving country. What?
Hold on. I have to ask this question, Macho. I have to ask this question. Okay. So, do you feel that I'm not saying it's going to happen, or this? Let's just say in a hypothetical, it did. Do you feel that Liberians and any African Americans that could trace that left the United States after 1870, because there's still Liberians that could trace their documents back to the emancipation of chattel slavery formally in 1870. And also, King Macho is going to get a kick out of this. The Samana Dominicans who have African American ancestry, are those people entitled to reparations? Should it ever happen? If and when should it ever happen? If they can trace their lineages back to 1870 emancipation, but they left the country to find a better life because of the racist Deep South. Go ahead.
I'm going to say yes. Because how I feel about reparations, and I get what other people are saying, if you're not from here or whatever, you should, whatever.